Hi there, I'm Erin with Five Parks Yoga. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. I'd like to give a special welcome to the Ralston Valley Girls Swim and Dive team. This class is specifically designed for swimmers. It's going to be more of a recovery class, but there will be some strength building exercises included as well. And of course, if you're not a swimmer, you will benefit from this class because yoga overall is good for your body, whether you're a swimmer or an athlete of any type. And we're really going to be focusing specifically for swimmers on back, neck, shoulders, and some good quad and hamstring stretches as well. And a little bit of the strength building postures will just be for the core because that's really good for swimming. So let's start in a seated position. Now you can sit on your shins or you can sit cross-legged, or if you do have a block and that is more comfortable, you're welcome to sit on a block. So before we begin, I'd just like to thank my Patreon supporters, my YouTube supporters, members, and subscribers. So thank you all for supporting my channel. There's lots more classes for swimmers and everyone else on my channel if you choose to check it out. So thanks again. All right, so let's come into a comfortable seated position, whatever that might look like for you. And one of the great things about yoga is the practice of pranayama, which is just simply breathing. So we're going to start with some breathing and then we'll get into some movement. So if you are comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes. You can rest your hands on your knees or your thighs, wherever you're sitting, and just relax your shoulders. So together, let's take a big shoulder roll. So bring your shoulders up by your ears and then relax them down the back of your body. And then try to relax your shoulders as much as you can so you're not like crunching up or holding tension. And we're going to take a big cleansing breath together. So breathe in through your nose. Just pause at the top and then let it go through your mouth. Close your lips and begin to breathe in and out through your nose. And so the goal here is to begin to lengthen and deepen your inhales and your exhales. So can you take the full length of your breath to fill up your belly, up into your ribs, up into your lungs, and again to pause at the top of your breath and then to release from your lungs toward your ribs and then down into your belly. Let's take two more. Last one, so belly, ribs, lungs, hold at the top, and release, lungs, ribs, and belly. And we're going to begin with a very simple neck stretch. So go ahead and take your left ear to your left shoulder. And if you'd like to deepen into this stretch, you can take your left hand onto the top of your head and just guide your ear a little bit closer to your shoulder. And just feel a stretch down the right side of your body. And then come back to center and switch sides. So bring your right ear to your right shoulder. If you'd like to deepen into the stretch, just take the top of your hand to the top of your head. And just draw your ear a little bit closer to your shoulder. Again, keeping your shoulders relaxed down away from your ears. Come back to neutral. Take your chin slightly forward and bring your chin toward your chest. And feel that nice stretch in the back of your neck and your upper back and your shoulders. And then go ahead and come back to neutral and then lift your chin up. So you feel this nice opening in your throat. Continue with your deep breathing. And then we'll just take a couple of neck rolls. So slow and steady. And go around in half or full circles. We're just going to do 3 in each direction. But be mindful of your neck and shoulders, so you don't need to swing through these. Really slow. And reverse directions if you're going in full neck rolls for 1, 2. And the last one in this direction. And then we're going to move on from here into some deep side stretches. So on your next big breath in, lift your arms up overhead and go ahead and come off to the left. You can reach your right arm up and across. See if you can keep your shoulder right in line with your hip and just extend your fingertips to the side instead of just like diving forward to touch the floor. I want you to stay extended and lifted. And can you take a deep breath here into your belly, practicing your deep belly breathing. And then switch sides. So come back to center and then bring your right hand off to the right. And then take your left arm, reach it up toward the ceiling, and then start to just make like a rainbow across the ceiling and reach over with your left fingertips. And again, keeping your shoulder in line with your hips so you're not collapsing forward. The goal is not to reach the floor, it's to have a nice stretch along the side of your body. And then on your next breath in, come back to center. And let's take a twist. So you're going to bring your right hand to your left knee. And then just sit up nice and tall. Look out over your shoulder. This is a great twist for your spine, warming up in all directions. Come back to center, reach up. Switch sides, bring your left hand to your right knee. Look out over your shoulder. Come back to center, reach both hands up overhead, and then a perfect stretch for all of your swimmers. You're just gonna take your hands, reach them behind your back, interlace your fingers, and then press your fists down toward the floor. Open up your shoulders, open up your lungs, lift your chin, and you can hold here. If you're holding in this position, you might be tight or sore, but see if you can begin to press the palms of your hands toward one another. They don't have to touch, but see if you can go in that direction. And then if you want to take it a little bit deeper, you can start to lift your hands up a little bit away from your mat and maybe hinge forward. This is optional. So just expanding the stretch if it's available to you. And then wherever you are, if you're folded forward, you're going to come back up, release your hands, and then come back into a neutral position, seated. And now you're going to take your hands, interlace your fingers again in front of you, flip your palms so that they're facing forward, and then just take a nice big stretch here. It's great for your wrists and your fingers, which work really hard when you're swimming. And then from here, lift your arms up overhead. Palms are facing the ceiling. And then actively release your shoulders away from your ears. So not crunching up by your ears, relax your shoulders. Bring them a little bit further behind your head. And release. All right, let's come into a tabletop position. We're going to continue to just warm up the spine. We're going to take some cats and cows. So spread your fingers nice and wide. Look down at the floor so that your head is neutral. Feet are flat to the floor, not tucked under. And then just drop your belly down. Lift your tailbone and the crown of your head. It should be really nice, opening up the front of your body, and then you're going to round your spine. So look toward your belly button, lift your shoulders, separate your shoulders. And then we'll just do 2 more. So breathe in, drop your belly, lift your head, lift your tailbone, breathe out, round your spine. So you're opening up the front and the back side of your body. 1 more, breathe in. This is called cow pose. Breathe out and round into cat pose. Come back to a tabletop position. So flat, neutral spine. And then we're gonna take a great hip opener called child's pose. So bring your knees wider than your hips, bring your toes to touch, and then rest your hips back on your heels as you walk your hands forward and rest your forehead down toward the mat. If your forehead's not coming onto the mat, that's fine. We're just working in that direction. This is a deep stretch for your shoulders and your hips as well. If your forehead isn't there yet, you can rest your forehead on a block, or you can take your hands, you can peek up at me if you need to. You can take your hands into fists and just rest your hands on your fists so you've got a little more height there. Continue to breathe deeply here, stretching out your low back, your hips, and then of course if your arms are extended, you're getting a great stretch in your shoulders. And then if you are not already, extend your arms long, because we're going to take a twist and a stretch for the shoulders. So just take your right arm and slide it underneath your left. Come onto your right shoulder and your right ear, and feel the stretch on the outside of your right shoulder. And then switch sides. So slide your left arm underneath your right, and then come onto your left ear and the outside of your left shoulder and feel that stretch here. You should feel a nice stretch in your low back too, and a very mild twist. Really good for your spine. Come back to a nice long extended child's pose. So both arms out in front of you, forehead back down toward your mat. And what you're going to do here is you're just going to kind of shimmy your way forward. I can show you, you can peek up at the screen. You're going to take your elbows down to the floor and then just slide your forehead, your nose, your chin, all the way to your chest, down onto the floor. Extend your legs long out behind you. Bring your legs so that they're basically hip distance apart and your feet are flat to the floor. And then from here, you're going to slide your hands back so they're right underneath your shoulders. Keep the tops of your feet glued to the floor. And as you breathe in, just peel your chest up off of the floor. This is called Cobra pose. So you're using a little bit of low back strength, just a little bit of arm strength. So you should not have a lot of weight. You should be able to lift your hands up off the floor, drawing your elbows back and in. Hold here for 1 more breath in. And then go ahead and release your forehead back down onto your mat. And then just 2 more times. So as you breathe in, just peel your chest, draw your shoulders back, come all the way up, not pushing into your hands. So lower down. And then last time, peel your chest up off the floor, lift through the crown of your head, and then release back down onto your mat or the floor. All right, so we're going to revisit a stretch we did at the beginning of the class for your shoulders. So from this position, what you're going to do is you're going to take both hands, reach them behind your back, interlace your fingers as you already did. You're going to press your fists toward your heels, lift your chest up off the floor, and then if it's available to you, just lift your hands up, 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 just to the comfortable edge of your stretch. You don't need to push it. And then last, if you want to try it, you can lift your feet up off the floor, up, 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 up. So this is strength and stretch at the same time. Just really press through the balls of your feet if they're lifted up off the floor. If your feet are on the floor, just press into your toenails. And release. All right, let's return to child's pose. So you're just going to take your hands underneath your shoulders, press up and back, bring your hips to your heels, your forehead down towards your mat. And take one more breath here in child's pose. And we're going to take a couple of standing poses. So the next posture we're going to do is called downward facing dog. Take your hands at shoulder distance apart, tuck all 10 toes under, lift your hips up, release your heels down toward your mat, and look back at your feet. And from this position, just bend and straighten one leg at a time. So you're getting a nice stretch of your calves. You're also strengthening your shoulders. You're getting flexibility in your spine. It's a great stretch strengthener overall. Downward facing dog. Take one more breath here. Press both heels down toward your mat. Look toward your hands. Walk your feet to the front of the mat. And then just bend your legs a lot. And this posture is called ragdoll. So you're going to be draping your torso over your legs, nice and relaxed. Great stretch for your low back. And then if you want, you can have your hands resting on the floor or your shins, or you can take opposite hand to opposite elbow and maybe sway side to side. Just opening up your hamstrings. And just take one more deep breath here. Okay, nice and slow. You can release your hands if they're not already down on the floor. You're going to roll all the way up to a standing position. You can use your hands for support, walking up your legs. And then once you come up to a standing position, bring your feet together to touch so that your big toes are touching. You've got just a little space between your heels. And then going from your foundation, so feel your feet on the floor. Engage your quadriceps, the fronts of your legs. Engage your core so you're nice and tight here. Lift up through the top of your head and then reach your arms down alongside your body. Can you feel the backs of your arms, your triceps engaged as you reach your fingers down and your palms face out? So a nice solid, this is called mountain pose, a nice solid foundation for you. Close your eyes if you feel balanced. Listen to the sound of your breath. Maybe visualize getting ready for a race, getting up on your blocks, being steady, calm, grounded. And then on your next breath in, reach your arms up, overhead. You're going to encircle your right wrist with your left hand and just take a side bend here. Come back to center, switch. Encircle your left wrist with your right hand. Take a side bend here. Come back to center. And then cactus. So draw your elbows down, lift your chin up, open your chest, breathe in here. Come all the way back up to center. Connect the palms of your hands and bring your hands to your heart. Heart to center. Your thumbs are pressing up toward your sternum. Elbows are coming down, shoulders are relaxed down away from your ears. And then we're just going to take one balancing posture while we're on our feet. So balance onto your left foot. You can bring your right foot to your ankle or your calf or your inner thigh. This is called tree pose. Find a nice steady place to gaze so you can balance here. Again, really recognizing the groundedness of your standing foot, your steadiness, your focus, your concentration. And then we're gonna switch sides. So release your foot down onto your mat. Take your left foot to either your ankle, your calf, or your inner thigh. Find a steady place to gaze. Relax your shoulders down away from your ears. And just feel the steadiness in your grounded foot. Notice how you can concentrate and focus and be here in this moment with no distractions. And release your foot back down onto your mat. Let's return to tall mountain. So reach your arms up overhead, and then we're gonna just hinge from the hips and come all the way down into standing forward fold. So this is gonna be a bit of a more intense stretch for the backs of your legs. It's okay if your legs are bent, okay? We're just working in the direction of flexibility for the backs of the legs. You can practice this anytime. And then plant your hands down onto your mat or the floor and just step back into a high plank position. And just hold your high plank with your feet in line with your hips, in line with your shoulders for 3 and 2 and 1. We're gonna lower back down onto our belly. We've been here before. We're gonna take one more chest and shoulder opener. So extend your left arm to the left. Your palm is going to be on the floor. Keep your right hand right where it is underneath your shoulder, and then just roll in the direction of your extended arm. So you can lift your leg up and over, plant it on the floor, and then rest your head down so there should not be any tension in your neck. And just feel that stretch in your left shoulder. You can move your hand around on the floor to really find that perfect stretch for you, depending on where you might be tight or holding on to tension. And then exhale here. And then let's switch sides. So come back onto your belly, extend your right arm to the right. Your palm is gonna face down, your left hand comes underneath your left shoulder, and then you're gonna bring your left leg up and over, planted on the floor. Your head is heavy, there's no tension in your neck. And again, this side might be different, but maybe move your hand further up or down, just depending on where you're holding tightness or tension on this side. And then make your way back onto your belly. Take both hands underneath both shoulders. Tuck all 10 toes under. Press up to a high plank position. And then hold here. Just for 3, 2, 1. Take your knees to the floor. Bring your knees and feet together. And then sit your hips back onto your heels. So this is going to be the beginning of a nice stretch for the tops of your legs, your quadriceps, your ankles, and your feet. So we're going to do 2 stretches here. All right, so if you have healthy feet and ankles, you're just going to take your hands slightly behind you and just lift your knees up off the floor. And you should feel a great stretch in your shins, the tops of your feet, your ankles. But again, if you have any pain, then you don't need to do this posture. So just kind of get into all different parts of our body that we use for swimming in the pool. Okay, and then just come all the way back down. And now separate your feet And if it's accessible, keep your knees together. You're going to sit in between your heels. So this is getting into the knees, and of course, again, the shins and the ankles and the feet. So you should feel a nice stretch in your knees, again, your quadriceps. If this posture is really accessible and easy for you, and your body's open in this way, you can start to walk your hands back behind you and maybe come onto your elbows. Maybe you can make your way all the way down onto your back. You can rest your head back, but feel this opening in your quadriceps, so the fronts of your legs, your hip flexors, which are probably getting used a lot, and you're kicking and diving, and just enjoy this stretch. We're just going to take one more breath wherever you are. Even if you're sitting upright, that's great. Everyone's body is going to be a little bit different right now. You're dealing with different issues. So if you are reclined, go ahead and make your way all the way back up. Come onto your hands, and then we'll just release this posture by extending one foot back, doesn't matter which one. Come back into tabletop, extend the other foot back. Come back into tabletop, and then cross over your ankles, come to a seated position, and we're going to take 2 hip stretches before we close our class. So place both feet flat on the floor, roll down onto your back. If you have any confusion about this posture, you can peek up at the screen, but I'll describe it to you. So this is called reclined pigeon pose. Again, a great stretch for your glutes and your hips, which we haven't really touched too much yet. So cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Keep your foot really active so your toes are flexed back in line with your heel. And you're just pressing your left knee forward toward the front of your mat. If you want to take this pose a little bit deeper, get deeper into your hips, you have the option of taking your right foot up off of the floor and holding on to either your thigh or your shin. You can just draw your leg in toward your chest and feel that nice deep stretch. And then place, if it's not already, place your foot back on the floor and let's take a twist. So you're going to bring your left foot, the one that's crossed over your thigh, and bring it to the right for a twist. One breath here. And then let's switch sides. So deep hip stretch, reclined pigeon pose. So place both feet flat on the floor. Take your right ankle, cross it over your left thigh. Keep your toes nice and active, your foot flexed. You can draw your right knee toward the front of your mat. If you want to take it deeper, just lift your grounded foot up off the floor, hold on to your thigh or maybe your shin. And release your foot back onto the floor, and let's take it into a twist. So you're going to bring your right foot to the left. So across your body, place it on the floor. Take your arms into any comfortable position. You can do like a cactus shape or a T shape, or you can hold your hand on your knee. And then come all the way back to center, hug your knees into your chest for one final squeeze. And then we're going to take a final posture called Shavasana, which only requires you to lie on your back in stillness. So extend your legs long, let your feet fall open, rest your arms alongside your body with your palms facing up. Close your eyes if you're comfortable, relax your face. As we began, let's take a deep breath together. Breathe in through your nose, fill up your belly, your ribs, your lungs. Hold at the top. Release through your mouth, lungs, ribs, belly. Close your lips at the bottom of your exhale and just come back to the natural, normal rhythm of your breath without any focus. And then just lie here in stillness. Notice how your body feels. Take a little mental scan of your body, working from your toes, feet, legs, hips, torso, chest, fingers, hands, arms, shoulders, neck, head, face. Just notice without judgment, just notice. This is an opportunity to just release and relax. If you have the time and the space, please continue to enjoy this beautiful resting posture. And if not, I hope you have a great day or evening. Thank you so much for joining me for class today. Today's Go Forward. May you have peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. From my heart to yours. Namaste.